Hi, this is Dan here. Hope you're doing really well today. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about bass guitar harmonics. And we're going to go straight into this, which is a note chart. You can download this for free via a link below, also the chord diagrams that are coming up. And I'm going to put a bit of the science about harmonics there. I'm not going to touch it in this lesson. I'm just going to show you how to play stuff like this. That sound is Waves CLA Guitar, which is a plugin. I like atmospheric effects when playing, or when practicing harmonics anyway, so you can choose to do something like that. I have a precision pickup and a jazz pickup, and I'm just backing onto this jazz pickup and plucking a bit closer to the bridge. I think the harmonics speak a little bit better there. Let's have a look at this though. So what we're going to do is go straight to the 12th fret. These triangles represent harmonics, and you've got the names of the notes there. So on the 12th fret, instead of fretting right behind the fret, right next to it, to get a note, you play directly over the fret itself. You probably know this, but just to recap, touch the string above the fret, pluck, and at that point you get the same name as the fret that you're playing, which is G, then D, A, E. Easiest places to play harmonics, but it's not always that easy. If you go to the 5th fret, there's another G, but the note you would fret there is a C. And that's to do with the science of the fundamental note and the overtones, different frequencies that you get, different intervals away from the fundamental note. So it's a little odd when you have to try and remember the names of these. You know, you'll remember here, that's the same name, this one's a 5th away. And then you can start to create really cool bass lines that way. But the 5th fret, just all across here, G, D, A, E, they're quite easy to get as well, those ones. I'm just touching above, directly over that fret. And you get a harmonic. If I go to that one that's on the 3rd fret, or even the 2nd fret, this bass I can hardly get that to speak out. These strings aren't very new, but it certainly isn't over the fret that I'm playing, the 3rd fret, the D. There, that's where I need to play it. I'm not a graphic designer, but I designed this myself. You can see that that D triangle is not directly over the fret. It's sort of this side of it, closer to the end of the bass, this way. You just have to experiment to get it, and there, if I keep my finger pressed down, it's going to mute it. It's not going to speak very well there. It's not going to... Here, it will. So you just got to pluck, touch, and then pluck, and then come away. You'll need to work on that touch a bit, really, to get that. Here we've got a G and a B next door to it. Again, that's good, that one. That's the same as the fretted note. You can start to make musical phrases up. I know a G and a B. They're notes in the G major scale, so you could play some G major-y stuff with that. And then you start to create bass lines. I think I might do a separate video on bass lines that contain harmonics. I can think of a Dream Theater one and a great Guy Pratt Pink Floyd song as well, but I won't touch that in this lesson. You can make stuff up though, like that. So this is where we get into the realms of chords. I'll move on from this, but there's that chart, just really for reference. Chords with harmonics, that's really where a lot of the magic happens. If I scroll to this now, by the way, this is the harmonic chord charts, and that chart that I just showed you is in a book some of you may recognize if you've downloaded it. A free ebook on my site. And I've never done a lesson teaching you what to do with this, so here we go. So here now we have a different orientation. We have the name of the chord above, we have a circle that's red, that represents the root note. And then we have the harmonics. This is a lovely one, this. Quick word on technique. So here I've got my little finger on the A, first finger on the C sharp, and then second finger on the A. Although, if you haven't got that stretched down, just use your first finger even, just do this. It's no problem. If I am using fingers like this, I'm keeping that second finger in this case really curled so I don't accidentally mute the other strings. So there's a different touch going on here. With this hand, it's a very different thing going on here. I'm using my thumb in combination with index and middle fingers, which are playing free strokes. That's where you pluck and you come away from the body of the bass like this. Now this is a rest stroke, where you rest on the string. Free stroke, you're kind of a bit more curled, and you're gently plucking away. You can use your thumb, use everything together, different rhythms you can make up. I'll go to the next chord. You can start to make things up randomly. I'm going to leave you to do that by yourself at home, but I will also show you a few progressions later. After this, I'll whiz through these chords for you, and then I've got 2 loops, and I'll show you some cool things you can do with that. B flat major 7. See, the first time I didn't quite catch it. It was 2 over the fret there. This is the point where you've got to move a little bit this way. I'm barring there. That's where you use one finger to play the same frets on adjacent strings. There's a little bit of a bend in the wrist I have to do. I'm trying to keep that first finger curled. And if you find this tricky, don't worry, it is, but don't play through any pain barriers. Build up the muscles required for this over time. That's B flat major 7, B flat major 7, sharp 11. That's a bit of a mouthful, that one. That E there, the blue one, that's the sharp 4, which is also a sharp 11. That basically says Lydian. That's the Lydian mode, the 4th mode of a major scale. If everything I just said was complete nonsense to you, I have a music theory course which goes through basically everything. Modes, chords, intervals, everything. A good practice is to have a look at these diagrams and work out what the interval is. So there's a B flat. That E is a sharp 4th. That's what makes it this sharp 11 thing. Then we have an A, that's a major 7th, and you can go through and test yourself that way as well. Or not, just play it and it sounds good. The harmonics, the other side of that, you have a 6th in there, that's the G. Don't forget, you can just do that. Use one finger, play the B flat, taking care not to accidentally touch and therefore mute another string. The previous chord, your little finger or third finger, or whatever you can. Then we got a B sus2. There I'm going thumb, index, middle to get a rhythm. Let's just keep going. B5. If you play a B on the 9th fret and go 2 frets higher, 1 string higher, you're playing the 5th, that's a B5, it's a power chord. Again, I'm barring here. I find these chords are good on endings. The first chord I showed you. C. If I'm playing a song and it's in the key of C, I don't do this all the time, but No, you can put in one of these at the end. Now, don't overdo it, but you can, it's cool. Equally, if you're in the key of B, you could do this. Or you could create bass lines. This is one I absolutely love. pretty sure this is in Portrait of Tracy by Jaco Pastorius. That's one of the archetypal, well, that's probably the bass composition that turned everyone on to harmonics. So we have a D, little finger, F sharp, first finger, A, second finger. And again, when you're plucking, you just want to be careful not to accidentally mute a string. So I'm really doing that free stroke thing of coming away. That's a nice one to move around the root note. That's really cool. So I'm just going, so B minor 7, then I kept the harmonics the same, go to G, and then when I went to A, just did that A chord I showed you. I would encourage you to do things like this. Just move some of these shapes around randomly. Let's move on. Very similar there. That's the note there, the C sharp is the add 9 in this chord, right? That's what that stands for. Could be my favourite harmonics chord of all time, that one. C sus2, that was the one I was talking about before actually. Add the E in here. You get an add 9. There's a C major 7, so first finger, little finger, or the third finger on that B there, then little finger reaching down to that E. Taking care to be right on those fingertips. It's awkward to play chords on bass, harmonics. C major 9, love that one. Here we have a D that uses exactly the same harmonics as that B minor chord. If you have a song in the key of D major at the end there, that would be lovely. E flat major 7. E sus2. I just played E flat major 7, E sus2, down to that C sus2. Here we have an E add 9, F major 7. That's it. You've got to be careful with that one. Bit of a stretch. A few more. G5. G major 9, love that one. G major 7 sharp 11. This is perhaps not for this lesson, but a really good thing to test yourself is to look at the chord G major 7 sharp 11 and play the scale or mode that this came from. So G major 7 sharp 11, basically if you see a major 7 and a sharp 11, it's Lydian. So you can go. Which brings me very nicely to looping. This is one of the best ways to practice harmonics. I've got a couple of pre-made loops here, but you can use a looping pedal and play a progression and do a solo over it. So this first one is using G and C chords, so it's in the key of G major. I'll play G major up and down, and then something more musical. See, stuff like that I could personally play for hours a day, getting into soloing, phrasing, everything. Here's another one. So there. You have E flat major 7 with that sharp 11 there, so that's Lydian. I mean, in case you don't know, I love that mode. It's my favourite sound. So over that E flat Lydian E chord, I'm playing just a Lydian mode. Which a shortcut to learn that is just, if you know the major scale, it's just that with a raised fourth. And then the same on the C, because that's the sharp 4 there. And you can literally just play the mode up and down just to practice a scale or a mode in a different part of the bass. And then more advanced, obviously, is just to make some melodies out of it. You can be really simple, by the way. It's a little trick I found actually before this lesson, recording it. Over the C, you could play it. This is definitely for another lesson, but I have to show you this. Over the C, you can play a C major pentatonic. And then when you go to the E flat, C minor pentatonic works over that. So you're on the C already, so you can go. So basically play C major pentatonic, then play C minor pentatonic. You find amazing things like this when you discover and when you explore and when you just make stuff up. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. That's quite a long lesson. Thanks very much for watching. If you already have that free ebook, then you can refer to it to learn some of these chord shapes. If not, there's a link right below this video where you can do that for free. If you want another video to, brush up on your improvising skills, because that's what we've been talking about a bit in this lesson, this one here's for you. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.